So there's an update with the story of the killing of Joe McKnight. The guy that they let go, Ronald Gasser, was charged with one count of manslaughter, which that's a pacified charge. Well, I'll talk about that later. And I want you to hear just the first clip about the sheriff speaking on that.
We're here to announce the arrest of Ronald Gasser, white male, born 12/17 of 61, for the count of manslaughter as it relates to the incident relative to the killing of Joe McKnight that occurred Thursday afternoon at the corner of Holmes and Berman Highway. First, let me say to the McKnight family, thank you for your patience, your restraint, and your trust in the process and in this organization. It has brought about, for the most part, a sense of calm in this community and set a tone that was necessary in order for us to do the job that we needed to do.
Now, why wasn't the guy charged with murder? That's what I want to know. Every time they always come up with these manslaughter charges. And manslaughter basically says you caused the death, but it wasn't intentional. That's all a manslaughter charge is. This guy intentionally killed Joe McKnight. He shot this guy numerous of times. It wasn't something that's not intentional. But the big story of this is not even the charge. It's what the sheriff said at the news conference in defense of a black politician in the city locally. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Leaders that stood by me, and I want to thank them again. You are true leaders. You are credible leaders. You did not do what was in your best interest. You did what was in the best interest of the community, and you're suffering for it, and I feel bad for you. I do. And I'm sure you see the emotion in me, because it's not fair. It's not fair for him to be called, you punk-ass Uncle Tom Coon. We saw you sell out to them, you rat-ass faggot punk. That's the tone of what we're calling our elected leaders for standing up and simply saying, let justice prevail and let the process take its course. To go on to say, you ass-kissing faggot that has done little to our community, all we know is that you are a bitch puppet, you rat-ass looking coon on TV. I bet they made you say that, puppet boy. I know what I see. I know that Norman is a piece of shit, and you stood behind that white boy with that bullshit, nigga. You won't even stand with your people, you self-serving son of a bitch. Really? And the tone of these go on and on and on and on, and all we simply asked for was let them do their job. That's it.
Oh, sheriff. Life isn't fair. Ask black people in America how fair their life is. But let's go ahead and continue this. Now, if you know you got a problem when Sheriff Norman is sitting up there angry defending you, and it makes me think that everything they said in those comments is true, because a person who is labeled a sellout, a person who's labeled a coon, is a person that's not doing anything for the black community. They're angry at him and they are upset with him, because we have seen in the criminal justice system that when a black man do something like that, he's behind and sitting in jail all that time until they get a charge. They got black people right now sitting in jail for a year, 2 years, and they still haven't even got charges put on them. But yet this white guy can go and kill this man, go home for a week, and the only reason you put manslaughter on him because you have public pressure to do so. You did not want to put charges on him. That's why you want to put a manslaughter charge on him, something that he possibly can beat. And then what, you gonna rig the jury like y'all normally do? Make sure to pick sympathizers for this guy? All you need is one that throws the jury, right? But what you see is black people are frustrated with the system. Look at what just happened with Walter Scott and these other cases. Y'all always say, let us do the investigation. Let the facts come out. Let the justice system work. And it never works for black people. So, yes, you have a great frustration. We don't want to hear anything anymore about wait and let us do this and let us do that, because when you have a group of people that justice never come for, that's why they are reacting that way. And who are you, sheriff, to tell black people how to deal with our own? When we have these black elected officials that we call into task about what they're doing to us in the black community, we have a right to call them out. They didn't call you anything other than he's standing with you. They talking about him. And you were up there mad and defending him? You should have kept reading them comments. Them comments are real good that you was talking about. It's showing that black people is not sitting up here no more just taking what y'all say. They're calling these politicians to task that's in the black community, and it's about time. They need to start doing for black people instead of getting up there and start shoe shining and going to dinner with Sheriff Norman and not doing anything for his people. You doggone right, because I know good and well if Joe would have killed Ronald Gasser, he'd have been in jail from the time it happened until they put murder charges on that brother. Don't you tell me that's not going to happen, because there's two different justice systems in America. How is it that white folks are arrested for crimes at a rate of 70%, but they only a little over 30% of the prison population? Because they get their cases thrown out. They get their cases dropped. They don't get much time. But let a black man do something, he get more time and stay in there a whole lot longer. So you have no right to lecture black people on our frustration of how we feel about elected officials and this broken criminal justice system. You can't say nothing to us at this point. You should just left that conversation alone. You should just reported that you arrested the guy and that's it. But no, you were just pissed off. How dare these Negroes open their mouth and say something about our sellout, about our coon? How dare they? Who do they think they are? That's the way you came across in that news conference, Sheriff. And this is the kind of people that's running around in law enforcement. That kind of cop sit up here beating black people up and killing black people. I'm talking about the attitude, not him. That's what we have to deal with. No other community is talked down like that too. You don't talk down to these white folks when they make comments against you. You think white people don't say nothing about you either? But no, you ain't got a problem with that. These black people could make the black man and black woman the enemy for speaking up about an elected official that they have a right to speak up on because they pay taxes. These people got a bunch of nerve, don't they? A bunch of nerve. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this story. Share the commentary. Like the video and subscribe for more news stories.